Hello wine lovers, Trophy Wine Hunter. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm doing a review of a wine dinner I had as part of Whistler Cornucopia. It was held at Araxi Restaurant in Whistler, and the dinner was for the Tinhork Creek Winery. It's a really interesting dinner. Araxi is one of the top restaurants in Whistler. I'm going to focus mostly on the food and the wine. Trust me, the place is like magnificent and the service was also wonderful. You know, if you have a chance to visit Whistler during Whistler Cornucopia, these are great events and it's kind of a soft season for Whistler, so it's not as busy as in ski season or in summer, and so that's why they can put on these events, and it's just a wonderful vibe. It's much more relaxed, and I was really fortunate to come to this dinner. So Tinhork Creek, just a little bit about the winery. It is founded by Kenn and Sandra Oldfield and Bob and Barb Shaughnessy in 1993. However, now they have changed ownership and it's under new ownership, and I was so happy to be able to eat and drink with Leandro Nosal, or Leo, the head winemaker, who was just joined Tinhork Creek about 4 years ago. So this is going to be both a wine and a food review. So you're going to get both, best of both worlds here. So every course is paired with a Tinhork Creek wine. So the first course was on the left. Here is the Chive and Cheddar Beignet with herb emulsion and crispy shallots. And then on the right is the Coriander cracker with pickled mussel, ponzu gel, and sesame. Both were wonderful. I actually thought it was a great starter. I actually loved the Chive and Cheddar Beignet. Really nice, rich, dense, but bite size. And it really went quite well with the wine they chose. The first wine paired with the first course was the Tinhork Creek 2022 Pinot Gris. I thought this was a good wine, a little bit lighter in style than most Pinot Gris. So my notes on this was that it had on the aroma orange blossoms, orange grind, a little bit of floral component, and then on the taste tropical fruits, and then with a slight orange marmalade aftertaste. Not very high in acidity. I thought it was a good wine, good pairing. My score is 86 points. Next course was the smoked and torched salmon with glazed carrot and carrot ketchup. Really loved the presentation. All the dishes, if you see in Araxi, the presentation was excellent. And I can only compare to what I see around the world and also in Vancouver. This is up there definitely with any of the Michelin recommended restaurants. So really enjoyed the plating, and also not just the plating, but the food itself was delicious. It was paired with the Tinhork Creek 2022 Reserve Rosé. I really love this rosé because it's a little bit more serious, a little bit more weight on it. So it's a blend of Syrah, Cabernet Franc, and Merlot. And sometimes with rosés, I don't like them as much because they're very light and they're great sipping wines. This is a real food wine, so I really like that part of it. My notes on this, there was black plums on the aroma, and then on the taste, black plums, black currants, and a little bit of anise on the aftertaste. Really enjoyed it in terms of it's a more drier style, heavier rosé. And again, I think it goes much better with food than a lot of rosé wines. My score of this is 88 points. Next course is the seared scallops with miso beurre blanc, confit squash, and lemon gel. Again, really nice dish. The scallops were done perfectly. And sometimes scallops can be overcooked or undercooked. This was perfect, just barely cooked correctly, so very nice. And the miso beurre blanc sauce was nice and creamy, going well with the Chardonnay that they paired it with. The scallop was paired with the Tinhork Creek 2021 Reserve Chardonnay. I thought this was the most interesting wine of the night. It's aged 18 months in oak, and I was surprised when I first smelled it because I did not see that oakiness in the smell or the aroma. So on the aroma, a lot of like white flowers like acacia and lilies, very fresh and fragrant. So I was surprised. But when you taste the wine, you see the oak influence and the butteriness come through perfect with the seared scallop. So to me, this was the most interesting wine of the night. Very close to 90 points. I'd give it 89 points, but a really, really great wine. And again, the other thing is Tinhork Creek, what I like about them is that they really have not upscaled the prices too much. They're very reasonable prices. I don't have the prices exactly. Really consumer friendly in terms of the value that they provide. Next course is the glazed duck breast with confit duck and textures of beetroot and foie gras. I actually thought this was quite nice. I enjoyed the duck confit and the beetroot, and I had about half of the foie gras. The duck was paired with the Tinhork Creek 2020 Reserve Merlot. So Leandro said that 2020 was an exceptional year for BC, but the Merlot I thought was quite young, quite tannic, and difficult to really read just because it was so young. So I'm not even sure I should rate it because it's just very, very young. I found it very tannic. So I'm going to give it 86 points at this point, but it could probably go up once it needs I probably needs 5 or 8 years before it will just calm down and show through. Next course is the roasted lamb rump. So this is hay baked celeriac, anchovy emulsion, and goat cheese. So a delicious dish. Actually, the goat cheese paired very well with the lamb, and so I really enjoyed it. It's a heavy dish. The lamb was paired with the Tinhorn Creek 2021 Reserve Cabernet Franc. And Tinhorn Creek is really known as a Cabernet Franc specialist. And so this and also their Chardonnay really are their best wines. So really good. It's really tough to make good Cabernet Franc that's not too green, but I really like the intensity of this, and they got rid of that greenness or controlled it. So it does have a little bit of spice and a little bit of green pepper aromas and taste, but it's in control and it's in balance. Nice firm tannins, and that really went well with the roasted lamb, which was again, very intense dish with the foie gras and the lamb. It was a very nice pairing. The dessert was a really interesting marriage of flavors, and I think it was because of the wine pairing, the dessert was also chosen the correct way. So it's a lighter dessert. It's a honey parfait with orange curd and yuzu gel. Nice and light, but not too sweet. It was paired actually not with a dessert wine, but with their Tinhorn Creek 2018 Blanc de Blanc Sparkling, which is a really interesting pairing. But it was nice. This, to me, and I can only compare the other Blanc de Blanc that I'm drink quite a bit of, which is Renard. And to me, it was a little bit actually sweeter than Renard. Now, I was proven wrong in terms of the dosage. We asked about the dosage. It was about 6.9, which is just barely above extra brut. But to me, on my palate, it tasted a little bit sweeter than Renard. Other people at my table disagreed. They thought it was quite dry, but it could be just my taste buds for that night. So in comparison to Renard, which is a spectacular, obviously, champagne, I thought Renard is a little bit creamier and a little bit drier, in fact, the taste than this. But it's a very nice and fairly comparable sparkling to Renard. I don't think it holds up quite well against Renard. So my rating of this wine would be 88 points. So here is myself with Leandro Nosal at the end of the night. He's the winemaker. Very nice guy. He's from Argentina. He's got passion and he wants to take this winery to another level. I hope they just give him the time. He's only been there around 4 years. Winemakers need time, and so give him another 5 years, keep him as a winemaker there, and I think they'll be great. Hopefully they don't change him up at all. I talked to him about a number of things. He's a great guy to talk to, good family man, and so he comes from Argentina. So I said, well, are you guys going to grow Malbec? He says, no way. The weather in BC is not able to do that. And then we discussed about how one of the things I don't like about BC wines is, they kind of sometimes get overpriced, not Tinhork Creek, but some of the other wineries. And he said, to be fair to the wineries, one of the things that I never heard of is that because of our climate here in BC, the vines have to be upgraded more often. He goes, in Argentina, vines, he could plant them, they can sit there for 100 years. That's not the case in BC. Generally speaking, there's about 20 to 25 years. I mean, there's exceptions, but that adds to the cost, which is a really unique kind of look at things. All in all, it was a wonderful dinner. Let's start with the wines. My favorites would be the Chardonnay, which I thought was really, really interesting, the most interesting wine of the night. Their Cabernet Franc was very good. I also enjoyed their Blanc de Blanc and the Rosé. So those would be my top wines that I would choose. In fact, I did put in an order for these wines, and hopefully they'll be nice enough to let me buy some of these wines. On the food end, again, Araxi is such a great restaurant. The service standard was great. The plating was wonderful, and the flavors were wonderful. I think where they really stood out is the seared scallop and the chive and cheddar beignet. I think those were my favorites. The duck breast and the roasted lamb were also excellent, but it's more difficult to really stand out with meat. But it was a great, great dinner. Really loved both the wine pairings and the food. And meeting Leandro, he's such a great guy. And I do think he's got a lot of passion. So I'm now a fan of this winery. Hope you have enjoyed this review. Until next time, happy drinking.